Questions for the North Carolina student athletes, please.
Ryan Wood, USA Today Network, Wisconsin. RJ, I'm just wondering, up and down game, obviously, what are the emotions after such a Herculean comeback falls short like that?
I mean, I have a lot of emotions, going through my head right now. It's hard to pinpoint just one direct emotion, but just from battling our way through the first half, obviously not putting a pretty good game, and then coming through the second half and, battling all the way to the 1 minute mark. It was a 2-point game. It just kind of just describes our whole season, from being an up and down year, being a difficult year, and persevering. I think that's the best way to put it. And, we were resilient. So I think that's and it just come up short like that. I mean, it sucks. It hurts. So, yeah, but, I mean, just for us being a resilient team and persevering when things don't go our way, when we get knocked down, we get right back up, and I think that's what we did in the second half. We just came up short.
Seth, if I could just ask you, obviously I'm sure you had a lot of support from family and friends in Menominee Falls. Just talk about the emotions of this game for you, please.
I mean, this game was really emotional for me, not necessarily because I was back home, hometown. I mean, that played a factor. I wanted to play well, I wanted to get a win in front of my peoples, but, I mean, the biggest thing in this tournament is just wanting to keep going, wanting to get more games with your team, wanting to keep winning, wanting to create more memories, and, I mean, that's just what kind of hurts most right now. I love that I have my peoples here, but, my biggest focus was this team and doing what I could do to win the game. So,
for RJ, Alec Bussey, 24/7 Sports. You have obviously had a really successful 5-year career at North Carolina. Can you just kind of put into perspective the last 5 years and what it's meant to be able to put on that uniform?
I mean, it's meant everything to me. The past 5 years has been the greatest 5 years of my life. It's bigger than basketball. Just the relationships and friendships I built here, from HD down to the coaching staff, to Doug and Jonas, as the athletic trainers and strength coach, to Hoots as director of ops, to Shane, our equipment manager. And I could go down the list to our managers. I mean, everyone has impacted and played a role in my 5 years of being here that I'll remember for the rest of my life. Like, basketball is one thing, but I think life is more about, who's impacted you and who you bring along with. And I for sure, that's just the teams I've been around, the years I spent here, I'll, keep that with me forever. So, and just for my career, I mean, I'm just proud of the way each year I improved, and each year I set goals, and sometimes I didn't even set a goal and I surprised myself. So it's just noticing that I'm capable of anything I put my mind to, and I'm just grateful for just putting this jersey on, because not a lot of people get the chance to.
And then to follow up with Seth, obviously you've been in the Carolina program now here for a couple of years. What have you learned in observing RJ and how to be a successful college basketball player at a major program?
I mean, I've learned so much from RJ. The second I stepped on campus, he was there. I asked him, hey, can we work out in the summer? I mean, basically asked, hey, can I follow you? Hey, can I do everything that you do? And I'm fortunate enough for him to just accept me at such an early time and just sharing me all the knowledge that he's shared over the years. I mean, I've learned how to be a better leader. I've learned how to be a more confident basketball player. Yeah, I mean, I've learned a whole lot from RJ. Real fortunate for us, so, yeah.
Jesse Temple, The Athletic. RJ, can you describe what was going through your mind over here? Can you describe what was going through your mind when you converted the and-1 to cut this game to 2? And does it make it harder to swallow when you come back from 22 down to get within one possession in a game like this?
I mean, yeah, it was just got the N1 and momentum was on our side. That was the first thing that was going through my mind. It was just more about making sure I knocked down this free throw. And obviously coming back from an 18-point game going to halftime and clawing our way through all the way down to the end. It sucks because it's a game we should have won, but I mean, I can't be more proud of this team because it's just our journey, our season, and how things went. So, yeah.
The question's either for RJ or Seth or both. Just kind of curious, reflecting on two very different halves. What was it about the first half that went wrong? And then at what point in the second half, when you start to get momentum, did you realize, okay, this game isn't out of reach? There's a real chance here to make that comeback?
We were really lifeless in the first half. We had no passion. We had no joy. We looked like the group that we were a few months ago. We were fortunate enough to listen just to what the coaches had to say in the second half. We checked ourselves. We got checked, and everybody kind of just looked in the mirror. And, that second half, it was clear we just played with passion, with joy, and we played for each other. We were a team in that second half, and that was the biggest difference. We weren't in that first half.
Anything else for the student athletes? Yes.
Yeah, Seth, Adam Rittenberg with ESPN. RJ sort of touched on that a lot of games were like this, and you kind of mentioned it there. Why do you think this team had so many games like this, or had so many stretches where you go from, like you said, maybe lifeless to fully engaged?
I don't know. I think with this team, it took a lot of guys. It took us. It took us just being hit first a lot of times this year. I think it was just as simple as that. That's why a lot of games, these first halves, we get down these heavy leads. We kind of get buried deep and we dig a hole to ourselves that we really got to climb out. It's because we had to get hit first. And, I feel like we tried to overcome it. We recognized it the whole year. We tried just to learn from it and grow from it. But I don't know. It just happened today. I think we did, but, it's one of those unfortunate events that happened today.
Guys, thank you. Appreciate your time. And we'll now entertain questions for Coach Davis, please.
Hubert, Michael Code, WCHL, chapelboro.com. When you think back on this season as a whole, not just this game, what will you remember most about what this team did, the journey that you guys took?
Well, this game just ended, to sit and think about the entire year, there's a lot of things going through my mind right now. Probably the thing that's initially going through my mind is this is the last time that I'll coach RJ, Jay Witt, and Tyshawn. So just thinking about the seniors, thinking about how much I enjoyed coaching them and having relationships with them, but there's a number of things going through my mind right now.
Yeah, Jeremiah Holloway with Inside Carolina. Hubert, of course, you guys made that, second half comeback to get it down to 2. It seemed one of the biggest things to adjust to was the physicality that Ole Miss was kind of able to play with. Could you speak a little bit to just what went into, making that adjustment and kind of, I guess, quote unquote, standing up to that physicality that they had? Yeah,
they brought the physical competitive fight in the first half. Every category, every angle in regards to physicality, they not only won in the first half, they dominated us. And there was only 2 choices coming out in the second half, either to respond with that same type of fight or get embarrassed. And I was really proud of how our guys fought back competitively and got back into the game. But just the whole game, that wasn't us the last 2 months. That was us the first 4 months. And I told them that at halftime. I said, I haven't seen this team since Clemson. And against good teams like Ole Miss. It's just not sustainable. I've said this to you guys before, coming back from 18, coming back from 22, that's just, so it's a credit to our guys to get to a 2-point game. Just too hard to flip it against good teams.
Anything else for Coach? Right, yep.
When was it in that second half that you noticed it start to turn, and what did you see specifically that kind of flipped that momentum for you guys?
Well, it was everything. I mean, unfortunately and fortunately, we've been in that situation before earlier in the season, and so with 20 minutes in the second half, it's a ton of time. Just take it possession by possession. You don't need to make up 20 points in one possession, and whatever it took, we continued to get stops. We were able, like, the discipline and detail mistakes that we made in the first half on both ends of the floor, we made very few in the second half. We got stops, we got rebounds, we got out in transition, we executed on the offensive end. I think we missed at least 8 layups second half. We were stronger at the hole. Going to the hole, we made free throws. It's the little details. It just is what it is. It's the taking care of the basketball, shot selection, boxing out, rebound, loose balls, toughness, talking on defense. Those are the little things that make big things happen, and those are the things that we did in the second half to get us back into the game. But in the NCAA tournament, and specifically against good teams, you don't have to be perfect, but that has to be consistent in both halves, and we weren't.
Yeah, Hubert, following up to what you were talking about with, the falling into the holes, not being sustainable. Obviously, nobody, likes losing in any context, but to come back from that deficit, get within striking distance, did those losses carry a different level of frustration, knowing that you kind of had enough in the tank just at the wrong time, if that makes sense?
I think it's equally as frustrating, but I am extremely proud of this team that all season long they have fought back. Whether it's been in a half, after a game, this team all season, when knocked down, has gotten back up and taken a step forward. Every time. There hasn't been one time where they have stayed down. And so that's something that I'm very proud of with this team.
Hubert with ESPN. As you were kind of addressing the team at halftime, saying you haven't seen that in 4 months, how much did you think they were past that type of half, that type of performance, that you guys had gotten over playing like that, and unfortunately it happened again?
I don't know. I mean, I hadn't seen that since at Clemson, where I felt like on both ends of the floor we were going off script, and the inconsistencies of the discipline and details that you have to have over the last 2 months. We've been sharp with it, and as a result, we've played our best basketball. But that first half just reminded me a lot earlier in the season.
Hubert, when Jay Wade goes down with the injury in the second half, that felt like a really tough moment, particularly to see the guy who had been so good for you in the past month and a half go down and have to miss the rest of the game. But what can you say about the response of the team? Because after that, they obviously made a move and got right back into the game.
Well, I mean, we have a team, so, other guys were called to step up, and they did. I thought Jay Wash had a really good, productive second half. I thought he was huge for us. Drake at the 4 was huge for us in terms of rebounding, getting steals, getting to the open court, knocking down 3. And so in times like that, guys have to step up, and I felt like Drake and Jay Wash, specifically in the second half, were really good.
Crystal Williams, MATC Times. I noticed that in the first couple minutes of the first half, you immediately called timeout. Would you say that if your team would have been more aggressive defensively, that the outcome would have been better, like you guys would have had a chance of winning?
I don't know. I mean, if we had played a better first half, I don't know. I just know in the first half we didn't play nearly as well as we needed to play. And what was missing was that competitive fight. It had nothing to do with X's and O's. It was just a competitive fight on both ends of the floor to do the things that we needed to do and needed to execute. And that's why I called an early timeout to let them know that they were very far from where we needed to be in order to beat a team like Ole Miss.
Last one.
Hubert, with respect to the fact that this is obviously a very fresh, loss and everything. Of course, the portal does open up soon and everything like that. I guess what is the breakdown going to kind of look like as far as having conversation with these guys on this current team and then evaluating what's out there, and just can you break down, I guess, a little bit what the next stretch of this, I guess, kind of portal windows may look like for you guys? Yeah,
I mean, I think that's a great question. That's something that I have not thought about at all. My anticipation was for us to play extremely well today and win and play Iowa State on Sunday. So it being less than a half an hour, 45 minutes from a loss, that's something that I will have to think about, but I haven't thought about it now, and I'm not going to think about it today.
Coach Davis, thank you.